Well, good Saturday evening to you all from the Chattanooga Weather Center. I'm Steve, and the current time right now is 10:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And let's go and get started and let you know what's going on with the latest weather updates. Now, of course, as you all know, I am forecasting the possibility for some pretty good instances of severe weather as we go into this weekend, into early next week for a good portion of Wisconsin, Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, Georgia, Alabama. Severe weather all likely as we go into this weekend, and I'm going to get more details on that as well as the details for next week too. So we have a pretty good episode of seeing some pretty intense storms roll across the Ohio into the Tennessee Valley. So let's go without further delay and show with what to are as the setup goes. All right, my first stop is going to be across the southeast for the severe weather outlook. This is the 24-hour severe weather outlook, if you will, or the 6-hour, the 12-hour severe. And this is looking at the NAM, giving us an idea from what NAM is. NAM is the numerical explains the national data that explains what to expect as far as the extended period of severe weather goes. And NAM gives a very short-term forecast, as GFS gives a very good long-term perspective, if you will. But this is kind of going into the 12-hour time frame here, and it goes anywhere across. This goes out to 18 hours, and then all the way into the afternoon on Tuesday. But it looks like severe weather-wise, and this is kind of what I monitor for severe storms and any type of threats. The threat for severe weather today is going to be on the light side over Knoxville, Chattanooga, Georgia, parts of East Alabama. Still, though, you want to watch out because there could be some scattered storms, a couple of little moving across the area. While back up into Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, another batch of storms moving from northwest to southeast. And we have a lot of strong Gulf moisture moving northward along this as well. And what's going to happen as the Gulf moistens up, get that very strong atmospheric wave pushing across. We usually deal with things like this, storms, and some of those thunderstorms can be quite intense. So let's go into 12 hours here on Sunday. This is going into about midnight on Sunday. Any storms developing, unfortunately, for Sunday night, it's going to die out. As you can see, the threat of severe weather really calms down for Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, including Tennessee for Sunday night. So the good news is by Sunday night, things will start dying down, while the biggest threat of severe weather from a squall line perspective is going to be monitored real close up here across the northern plains. So starting down to Kansas, that's kind of what we're going to be watching for, is developing long-lived area thunderstorms. A few of those could be quite intense, as well as storms could be severe. Now here's going into Monday, or actually I'm skipping ahead. 6 hours into Monday, Sunday night into Monday, showers and thunderstorms will make the way across Tennessee. Now this turned about. I usually don't see this with a very short frame of severe weather, and as you can see here, the pink covers pretty well Chattanooga, Nashville, Knoxville, with probably higher than 50% chance of severe weather problems. So that's not a good thing. Now further north here is kind of what we're going to be watching for. This is that squall line I've been telling you about. Long-lived ratio scenario could produce possibly a couple of very strong large hail events, tornadoes also possible, and that's within this red shaded, pink shaded area. And last I checked, I don't really think the red is registered on here. So a red would be like an off the charts type thing. So I have to watch out for Kansas, Minnesota, although I'm up in Illinois there as these storms are getting very vicious along a stationary boundary. Now for 12 hours on Monday, this is how things are going to settle for Monday night. Showers and thunderstorms will once again be pushing from northwest to southeast across the region. And as we work our way into 18 hours on Monday, especially into Tuesday, that same system will start once again pushing its way through Kentucky. Things are going to start dying down a bit on Monday morning or Monday afternoon or Monday evening, if you will. But the most likely time frame, and I think that's going to be a better chance of where we're going to see some bigger time storms develop. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Not only are we talking long-lived ratio type systems, long-lived supercells, but there could be enough instability for a couple of tornadoes. And so I'd really watch out across all of East Tennessee, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. Now, Ohio looks like they're going to be in the bullseye. This is a bullseye area from Ohio right here. So along where you see the very circled pink area, dark pink area, this is where the biggest threat of severe weather is going to be. However, anything that develops from north and moves to the south will most likely kind of move in. Now, as you see, the models did change here, and now it's showing the part of this getting into East Tennessee. This is a big concern. We need to watch this closely as showers and thunderstorms are going to be with us for a good bet. Now, let's look at the 24-hour severe weather occurrence. This is the severe weather probability for the next 24 hours. And this goes Monday through Tuesday. As you can see, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama going to get into some active weather. So I would say cities like Nashville, areas like Dalton, Georgia, or cities like Dalton, Georgia, Nashville, back over into parts of Tipton, Tennessee there. And then you have Obion, and then you have all kinds of bigger cities up here in Kentucky like London, Corbin, kinds of areas here, McCreary, Monticello. Showers, thunderstorms, a few of those could possibly be severe here over the weekend into next week. So late Sunday into Monday, we could be looking at possibility of a lot of severe weather here. So we're going to have to watch and batten down the hatches as these storms move on through. Now here's a look at the forecast area for Tuesday. Again, this is why I say Tuesday afternoon is going to be violent. Look at this. This area of activity is going to move from northwest to southeast on Tuesday across Tennessee, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. Everyone could be pretty well seeing a dangerous day for Tuesday with the possibility of a couple of supercells, which could possibly spawn tornadoes. And so we're going to have to watch that close. Now, I do think the main threat here is going to be destructive winds and hail. But again, with the atmospheric conditions being so primed, can't rule out a couple of tornadoes. And sorry, but I don't like to say that word. I like to keep that word out as much as possible. But not this go, my friend. It looks like it is going to be a busy, busy week ahead. All right, now this is what's going on with the Storm Prediction Center. Now, pretty well what I've told you, they're thinking the same thing. Take a look at this. This is awesome, isn't it? SPC has got a slight risk of severe weather. They're thinking away from Tennessee and Kentucky tonight and into tomorrow. So we won't have to worry too much about all this. And now as we work our way into Georgia, northern Florida, that storm kind of moving, that little cutoff area moving southeast there could bring some storms. And then it looks like there's that system been telling you about it to the northwest is going to bring some storms over Minnesota and also for portions of actually North Dakota and parts of South Dakota there. Kind of got confused in states. And in central Illinois here, it's interesting that they actually have a 2% tornado risk. So we're going to be watching that closely, and this is going into the rest of tonight. Now, right now, I don't think there are any watches. That's the good news. I hadn't checked, but I really don't think there are. Now, for the day tomorrow, this is what is going to be going on. Again, they're thinking much of the activity is going to be scattered over East Tennessee. Just in case you don't believe me, this is the probability. 5% Chattanooga, Knoxville, Northeast Tennessee, while Central Kentucky northward here is dealing with a 15 to 30% risk, even more significant, severe over Iowa, over Minnesota, and Wisconsin. So active days ahead, large hail, destructive winds, possibly a few tornadoes. So it's a good idea as we go starting into Sunday. It's a good idea you want to keep an eye on this real close so that you will be totally aware of the situation and what may go on severe weather-wise. But this is the probability. The enhanced risk goes all the way across Illinois, or not Illinois, but Iowa, also Minnesota, Wisconsin, 30% severe probs. We're talking a very good setup for severe weather here as we go into for Sunday. Now Monday into Tuesday, this gets really important. Actually, this is going into Tuesday. This is where SPC says, okay, we got to really watch this close because it looks like it's just getting way too close for comfort. Let's go ahead and look at the counties that are in the worst threat area for severe weather so that nobody won't be confused here. The 30% risk of severe weather covers Fentress, Morgan County, on up into Davidson County, Kentucky, and then right on up into Minnesota. We're talking large area of severe storms. Tornadoes cannot be ruled out. Fuels could be strong. So I would say my mother and my father need to watch out for that there. While further across Chattanooga, West Virginia, this is the outlook for right now from SPC. My outlook is going to be similar to this. However, I really do think this area is going to make it a bit more further south. So I may be putting out a bit more stronger twist cast area for Tuesday as a safety precaution. So don't be surprised if some parts of East Tennessee and Southeast Tennessee could see a long-lived event of severe weather. The thing you want to do when severe weather happens is keep your eyes on the sky. Make sure you have a no weather radio, and always remember, if thunder roars, as the National Weather Service says, you want to go indoors. Now let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going on for the next few days afterwards. Here's what's going on with the latest outlook. Again, this is Tuesday. They're thinking not much of a change here. It's going to be a long-lived event is what they're saying, so that's why they're really adding this all across the Carolinas, Tennessee. They're really kind of unsure about the timing. However, everything's going to come together. The only thing they're very unsure of right now, the SPC is unsure of, is the timing of the situation, how long it will take the derecho to move across, and what kind of damage it will do as it moves across as well. So it may be a good idea to keep your eyes peeled to Chattanooga Weather Desk, as well as Tennessee Storm Watch going into Monday into Tuesday. Here's what's going on with the latest radar picture. Let me go ahead and get into the area outlook. Let's go ahead and get into Chattanooga's radar outlook here. I just want to look at Tennessee mainly, and then I'm going to show a couple of models and be done. As you see, the weather radar is clear across all of Southeast Tennessee. There's really nothing showing across either part of Interstate 75 or north. That's good news. And as you make your way north of Interstate 40, it's still clear. So we're not really dealing with a whole lot there either. And let's go ahead and look into the Tennessee radar for Nashville, because usually our storms kind of come in from west to east. And as you can see for Nashville, the radar is also clear. So we're not really seeing a lot going on. That's good news for now. What you're seeing here is probably a little bit of fog lifting up into the air. Radar is easily to pick all those particles up. Once again, we need to be really on the severe weather again. One more, I'll take you to my famous WeatherTap models. Let's go ahead and look at the regional radar picture here. This is where all the warnings are at right now, as you can see, that are lit up in green and yellow. Now, the greens are the flash flood watches, or the flash flood warnings for areas that have already had a lot of heavy rainfall, and unfortunately, the severe thunderstorm warnings that are continuing to get some pretty nasty storms here. And as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and point on here. I think this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning, if not mistaken. Yeah, that's flash flood warnings. Actually, I don't see any severe thunderstorm warnings. Just some flash flood warnings is what it looks like there. Now, as I go and animate this radar, you'll see, look what's going on. This area of activity is moving all the way out of Minnesota, Illinois, and look at the direction it's headed. It's headed east-southeast. So we'll have to watch this real carefully, as this looks like it's going to be the setup over the next few days. We have a newer system that's being started over across the Midwest, and it's all because we have a stationary boundary over us. And you say, well, what is a stationary boundary? Real quick, just to get you educated, if you will.
See.
just teasing with y'all. Educated, right? All right, let's here's these latest surface analysts. Just driving my wife crazy. I love doing that. All right, let's go ahead and look at the latest surface analyst. This is again what looks like to be a very active storm season this year. You can see the stationary boundary all the way from the Carolinas backed up into the Midwest. And look at these impulses of energy. One area of low is moving over the Carolinas now. Another area of low pressure is pushing along an outflow boundary off to the Midwest. All that's going to get caught up with this stationary boundary, and any system that rides in between is going to act like it's a train track to a train. Instead, it's a train track to a system. So anything that this system moves along is basically where areas are going to get hit the most. So if the stationary boundary is a bit further north, the more better chances of getting hit. If the system is a bit more south, the more lesser chances of getting hit.
That's not more lesser.
Oh, crap. I just realized I wasn't even on. Dadgummit.